Imagine a world without the internet. No memes, no cat videos, no endless scrolling at 2 a.m. Hard to picture, right? But here's the twist. The internet wasn't invented to share TikToks or online shop. It was actually born out of fear. Yep, fear of nuclear war. Today, we're diving into the story of how one of humanity's biggest inventions started not as a way to watch Netflix, but as a military project. We'll explore the people, the ideas, and the aha moments that turned a crazy Cold War concept into the internet we can't live without. Our story begins in the 1960s, during the height of the Cold War. The United States was worried that if the Soviet Union attacked, traditional communication systems would be destroyed. And without communication, well, things would go downhill very fast. Enter a man named Paul Barron. He worked at Rand Corporation, a think tank for big brain ideas. Paul had a wild thought. What if we could build a network that didn't rely on one central hub? That way, if one part was destroyed, the rest could still work. Barron's idea was called packet switching. Instead of sending information in one big chunk, it would be broken into tiny packets, each finding its own way to the destination. Like sending a puzzle piece by piece, even if some roads were blocked, the pieces could take different routes and still arrive. Meanwhile, across the ocean in the UK, a man named Donald Davies had the exact same idea, without knowing about Barron. Great minds really do think alike. His work helped prove that packet switching could be the future of communication. Then, in 1969, the U.S. Department of Defense created ARPANET, the ancestor of the Internet. The first message sent over ARPANET? Low. Seriously. They were trying to type login, but the system crashed after the second letter. A true oops moment in tech history. But the idea worked. ARPANET connected 4 universities at first. Students and researchers could share data without mailing magnetic tapes, which was the prehistoric version of a USB stick. Over the next decade, more universities joined, new protocols were developed, and something called TCP/IP became the standard. This allowed different networks to talk to each other, like teaching everyone the same language. By January 1, 1983, the switch to TCP/IP was official. Some historians actually call that date the birthday of the Internet. But back then, it was still mostly scientists and government people using it. No Facebook, no YouTube, no spam emails yet. Then came Tim Berners-Lee in 1989, who invented the World Wide Web, making the Internet user-friendly for the rest of us. Suddenly, you didn't need to be a tech wizard to browse. And that's when the Internet exploded into what we know today. A mix of groundbreaking technology, endless knowledge, and a lot of pictures of dogs in costumes. Fact 1. The first webcam ever was used to watch a coffee pot. At the University of Cambridge, scientists set it up so they didn't waste trips to an empty pot. Truly groundbreaking priorities. Fact 2. Email existed before the World Wide Web. People were sending emails in the 1970s, but only to others on the same network. No Gmail, no Hotmail, just pure nerd mail. Fact 3. The word Internet comes from internetworking, basically connecting multiple networks into one big one. It's like international, but for computers. Fact 4. The first search engine wasn't Google, it was called Archie, and it launched in 1990. Its job? Indexing files, not web pages. Think of it as Google's great-great-grandparent. Fact 5. In 1995, the Internet became commercial, and suddenly, ads started showing up. And they've been haunting us ever since. So, the Internet's journey began with a Cold War fear, grew through genius ideas like packet switching, evolved into ARPANET, adopted TCP/IP, and finally blossomed into the web we all know and love. or at least spend way too much time on. If you enjoyed this trip through internet history, hit that like button, subscribe for more fascinating stories, and tell me in the comments, what's the first thing you remember doing on the internet? Until next time, stay curious, and maybe, check your Wi-Fi connection.